Good morning, everybody. Thomas Fleming here. Well, we have rain. We've had rain for 2 days now, day and a half, and it's still raining, and it's still in the forecast. It might rain through today. Then we have a break, wow, for 1 day, and then we get rain again. This is not normal, but it also turned cold. It's not freezing, but it's too cold to be out without protection on, so I'm going to keep my cap on. All right. I'm going to try to cover some topics. I'm going to make this a generic one again so I can put this on YouTube and Rumble. The fundraiser is started, but we need to keep it going, people, so I need some help with that. If we can get Starlink in here, then I can do dual videos without a problem. Right now, I can't do what I want to do, so pray about it. If everybody contributes a little bit, it won't be very much at all for anybody. I'm not asking for someone to fund all of it. And if you're one of those that have helped me in the past and funded, you know who you are. I'm not asking you to contribute more. We've got enough people here that if everybody contributes a small amount, we'd reach that limit. Okay. They're continuing to torment the world. It's just the people that are in charge of this takeover or change follow a procedure called nudge. Just nudge it a little bit along, nudge it a little bit along. They've got the patience of Job, a lot of them. Not that they're spiritually empowered, but just a figure of speech. It's like when they attacked at 9/11. They came in and put these people to school on how to learn how to fly a plane. This took time. They got in here with the proper paperwork. They weren't illegal, although we do have illegals here. They're willing to take the time. Now, we've got the 30-20 reverse the numbers agenda, and with that, they're hoping to have everything in place by that year. That's not very long. That's 7 years. That's their plan. God's plan for 7 years is when this Gentile age ends, he's going to do his 7 years of tribulation, and I use that term loosely. Only the second half technically deserves that term. But since everybody calls the 7 years the 70th week of Daniel, the tribulation, I'll do it just for reference. Okay, we've got a lot of stuff coming up. I was listening to a teacher talk, and he's got some good arguments about putting the two witnesses in the second half of the 70th week. So I'm kind of reviewing that. I like the instruction, so I'm going over that now and seeing if that works. If it does, I've been waiting for them to show up and going, we're running out of time. But if they're not here until the second half, then that fits better, and I don't have to be worried about the timing. I'm thinking that we're going to start the 7-year tribulation this year, according to the calculations that I'm finding. That means the rapture will be pre-trib in front of it, which puts it this year as well. Now, when? We can only know the season. It should be springtime. It should be this season. That's when you start seeing the buddings and the fig tree starting to blossom and that. So I'm going to put my high watch again at Easter. Here comes the rain again. You can hear it hitting the roof. I did not bring my umbrella. Okay, I'm not that far away. If I had to run in the heavy rain, I wouldn't be totally soaked. This is a Gore-Tex jacket. It will keep my body dry. Okay, so look at some of the things that are happening. They're nudging. We had another train wreck. Now this one because of a landslide. So was the landslide an accident, or did they deliberately create the landslide? Far too many train wrecks to be an accident. So it's not. And they're not covering it, which means they're doing it. Otherwise, they'd cover it. They talk about stuff all the time when they're not doing it, but they won't talk about it if they are. We've had some new revelations, some videos that come out on the January 6th White House thing, or Capitol thing, showing that, again, our government lied. And they're still lying. They're still denying it. Even though they're looking at the videos, they're saying, well, that's not true. That's more Russian propaganda. Well, why not? They keep getting away with it. There's no one in our government high enough up to stop these people. And they've gotten very used to lying. And the media is in their pocket. They already own the media. No more worried about lobbyists. They don't have to worry about it anymore. They own everything. So if you're watching the mainstream media, you're drinking the Kool-Aid, and you're going to go to hell, because that's the only place that these people are going to go. You don't want to do that. You want to be going to heaven, and to do that, you got to believe that God has a better plan than these people that think they can create one big round thing, government. See, I'm having to watch my words. That's what's so nice when I do a video over on Rumble. I don't have to watch my words. I have the plan. Watch the little video that I posted on asking for help on it, and you will see that I have a plan. Starlink will solve the problem. The regular antennas that I had in mind won't work. Starlink, because of the way that they're positioned very low Earth, and they're directly overhead. So even in the trees, I can shoot up and catch a satellite, whereas the standard satellites, the dish, the other satellite subscribers that you would belong to for TV and internet, all of them are hovering over Texas. So here on the East Coast, we have to shoot at an angle like this. So I have to go all the way, see how I'm aiming at the trees? I have to go through the trees, whereas if I'm just shooting straight up in the air or close to it, there's 3 or 4 people here because we're on a camp. The rangers already have Starlink. As I pass by their homes, I can see the Starlink antenna, and it's pointing it about, up like this. So they're already using it here. It works great for them. They're happy they got it. So anyhow, see what you can do to help. Pray about it. Don't contribute because I tell you to. Ask God. Because I would much rather have you contribute conversation. Leave me comments. Ask questions. Okay, I'm back. There's little messages popping up on my screen which I couldn't read, telling me that my drive was filling up. Every once in a while I have to delete videos to make room for more. I don't know how to, I keep trying to figure out how to change my camera to point to my SD memory, which has plenty of room, and I can't figure out how to do it. So I'm having to use the onboard memory. If we would just put everything up on the SD card, it'd be fine, but everything else is there. That's all right. Yeah, the crows are making noise. At least one. Okay, so I don't remember exactly where I left off, but we're basically watching all these things happen. Everything gets gradually worse, slowly. That's God's standard operating procedure. Oh, and I was talking about the Bible. That's what I was talking about. There are translations. There's probably 10 or 15 specific verses that we know have been removed from the Bible. It started back with King James in 1608, I think it was, when he commissioned the new Bible that came out in 1611. The church had been writing the bishop's Bible, where they put a lot of extra things in there, basically to give them more power over everything. And so his intent was to take some power away from the church and put more on him, because he was trying to have another affair, and the church said, we've absolved you once, we're not going to do it anymore. So he didn't actually rewrite the Bible to say, it's okay if King James does what he wants to do, but he took out some of the power that was added in the bishop's Bible that allowed him to kind of get away with it. Not a good king. And I can guarantee you, with beyond a shadow of a doubt, no one that can argue with me, they didn't speak the king's English in the first century Jerusalem. I guarantee it. Now, it's flowery, it sounds good, and if you love it, then stay with it. But just understand, you're not going to heaven because you speak the king's English. We need to get you a tool to use, and if you like the tool and it fits your hands and you can use it and work with it, then work with it. I like the translations of the King James, so that, because we know what they've done to it. And the verses that were taken out are in other books, so it's just their duplication. So it's not a matter of rewriting the book to make it say something different. So they're okay. I prefer the New King James because they've converted the King's English into standard day English, and I can read that better. I have trouble reading King James because they pronounce things differently, and I don't do accents very well at all, and I've tried. The best I can do would be, I can't even do my native language of Scotland. I can't do Scottish very well, but I can do Scotty from Star Trek. I can talk like him, but because he tried to do Scottish as well, poorly. But in any case, I'm doing a book on that, and I'm going to incorporate some of the Old Testament stuff. Somebody asked me, how can this be a good God? Because he has gone through and killed people for simple reasons. Well, that's because the interpretation is simple. You got to understand that it's never simple if you just read the surface and you don't understand it. You got to dig down. Sometimes you got to know the word that was used. Old Testament, Hebrew or Aramaic. New Testament, it's going to be Greek for the most part. There is some that was written in Hebrew. The problem we have with the New Testament is there are no intact first century documents, manuscripts complete. The first century, they were out there trying to eliminate Christianity. The Jews were trying to do it. The Gentiles were trying to do it. Everybody was trying to do it. Rome was trying to do it. And the emperors were out there, that one of them in particular wanted Christians killed and their manuscripts destroyed and burned. And he almost succeeded. That's the closest Christianity has come to being annihilated. Now, they were smart. They tore the pages out, and they took pages and shared them around so that everybody had something. And they were duplicates, so that if somebody got caught and they turned the page in, they only lost that page. They had somebody else that had it. It's kind of a variation of Fahrenheit 451. I've talked about this before, where they were burning books. It's an old English sci-fi movie. It's supposed to be in the future. Their firemen were not putting out fires, but creating fires, burning books. Hitler burned books, so kind of it was based on that, in hopes to eliminate. If you can eliminate knowledge, then you can put your own knowledge in place and they will believe it. Well, God's never going to let this completely go away, and Christians did survive. Now, it was rough. The Thessalonians thought they missed the rapture. That's how rough it was. And we're going to eventually get back to that. But that's not going to be for the general Christian population. That's for those that are after the rapture. Left Behind. Kevin Sorbo has a new movie. Go check it out. And it's basically a modern-day remake of the old one that was done a long time ago. They're both good. But the old one's period, you can recognize the time. We've also got the Jesus Revolution, a new movie out. And we've got these revivals. So God's pushing back. This whole tribulation time frame, and I had somebody mention it this way, and I hadn't thought about it this way, but I agree. It's a tug of war, back and forth. Evil's pushing, God pushes back. Evil's pushing, God's pushing back. Eventually, God will take his hands off. He's going to pull the Christians out of the world, which is going to basically leave a major vacuum. and evil's going to just jump right in and fill that in. And then eventually, at the midway point, after the abomination of desolation, he's going to pull his hands back and say, okay, Satan, you know the ultimate limits. Don't go past those, but anything else you want to do, go at it. The first seals are not God. They're man stuff. They're human stuff. And they're not good. Well, the first one is the Antichrist riding in. The seventh seal is at the very end. If you look over there, you will find that it is in the end. It's not just chapter 6, it's chapter 7 and chapter 8 has the final seal in it, the first verse of chapter 8. The people that marked the books didn't know where the chapters were, and they read everything linearly, and they didn't mark the chapters right. So basically, it's a whole bunch of layers on top of each other. The seals here, the trumpets here, not starting where the seals do. The seals start fairly close to the beginning, and the trumpets start a little way into it, and then the bowls are over here in the second half. So, interesting times. We need to continue to pray and to do the things that you should have been doing all along. Now you don't really have an excuse. There's no point in working your fingers to the bone to make a career, to do something, to get the billions of dollars that you want to have so you can have the nicest car, the nicest home, the nicest everything. Peter says it's all going to be destroyed. Why worry about that? What you need is to make a living. I'm not telling you not to work. You still need to make a living. But your goal to make so much money that you could buy a brand new car and a new house, you don't need to do that. If you're comfortable with what you're doing, you don't need any more money. God will take care of you. He will promote you if you need to be, and he will give you more money if you need to be. I ask for money all the time from God, and it shows up in places I least expect. I'm not out working for it, and when I get it, there's usually something to apply it to, other than myself. I'm living modestly. I live in a tent. I do so because, one, I enjoy it, because I can be out in nature. This is my backyard. But I'm living modestly. I'm not raising money for a new car. I'm not raising money for, a nicer place to live. I'm quite happy where I'm at. I'm trying to get the tools to do the job that God has given me. That's what I'm raising money for. It's just simply tools. Because I spend a good deal of time and money trying to get these videos uploaded from parks like this one that have no internet. The only parks that have internet are in close to town. And they cost more, they're noisy, and they're not as nice. And I don't have critters running around like I do here. This is my favorite park. Now there's other parks that I'd like to travel to. I'd like to go back to the one down south. I like the Okefenokee Swamp area. When summer gets here, I'll want to go down there. But they have no internet. But with Starlink, I can do what I need to do. That's the key. So that's why I've been asking for it. I'm not doing this for myself. I'm trying to serve you and serve God with the best that I can. Okay, so I'm going to have to struggle to figure out how to get this video up. I have not gone into town yet, so I might go into town and get this one uploaded. I'm also watching what I say, so I don't have to worry about posting it. I'm going to post this on both. But that's the problem. Without the Starlink, I have to upload to YouTube, get it uploaded, and then start the upload and get it uploaded to Rumble. YouTube is punishing people now. They will fine you if they don't like what you're saying. Not just take the video down, not just give you a warning. One of the guys I was watching, he does the, God, what's the name of it? I can't remember the name of it. His intro is he's walking along a creek. Something Homestead, something or other. Travis is his name, but I can't remember the show name. Any case, he said he just posted a video on YouTube and they forced him to take it down. So they're still pulling their stuff. Now, I take a link and I can put the link on Twitter now and they don't bother me. But I've got Telegram is my backup for Twitter, but since Twitter's working, it's easy to just post on both. I can post pictures and other things on Telegram. Rumble only lets me post videos. From my phone, I can only upload a 13-minute video. It's the maximum length I can get, somewhere around there. It won't upload. From my laptop, I can do a 15 gig file is the maximum upload. The phone limits it for some reason. That the app on it doesn't allow you to do that. It doesn't matter, side by side, that's the limitations. But my laptop, I'm enjoying back recording on it again. I used to record all the time on my laptop until I started using my phone. So I can do a video here, and then I can do a video on my laptop, and each one of them go up, but I've got to have better internet. If I drive into town, it's about a 30-minute drive. That's about, it's an hour round trip, so that takes not quite a quarter of a tank. It takes about an eighth of a tank, I guess, of gas just to go into town. So I'll go into town. I don't need gas, but I'll go into town, I'll get some food, I'll shop there, and I'll upload my videos. That's the only way I can do this until I get Starlink. And then I don't have to, I can shop once a week. But after I do today, this will cover, on Rumble it will cover tomorrow because I'm current on Rumble. I think I'm one ahead on YouTube because I put one up there that I never put on Rumble. I can take that one over there, I guess, and put it up there, and it'll be duplicated. And there will be duplication, so you don't have to watch them both. But open it up and hit the little Rumble sign, the glove. I guess it looks like a boxing glove. Hit that up there, and that will give me some. It's the equivalent of a like. You don't have to watch it; it's duplicate. If you've already watched it here on YouTube, you don't have to watch it there. But help me by liking, subscribing. If you want to know the time that I'm going to upload, generally YouTube is at 6 in the morning, and Rumble will try to be at 6 in the morning. But if I'm struggling to get it uploaded, it could be during the day. If you want to know that, click the bell icon and it will let you know when I upload the video. Okay. Those are free. Contribute to my fundraiser if you want to help me to get a Starlink and be able to do this. I've already checked with the Rangers here. They love it. It works great. The satellite that they provide at the Ranger Station, at the Visitor Center, is the cheapest satellite system, quality-wise, that you can come up with. And the office staff share that satellite connection. So if I upload during business days, they may not be able to check anybody in. It slows it down. So I can only upload early morning or after 5 o'clock. So you see, this is what I've been going through for the last couple of years. But the technology is there. God said, if you want to get it, get it. I'll help you. So we're doing this because we're going to continue. We're not out of here yet. I'm guessing April next month. I'm guessing. I have no idea. It's a high watch period. It's a Christian holiday in the middle of Passover week. So it's a combination Christian and Jewish week. Would that be a good time? Yeah. But every day for the past 2,000 years has been a good time. They talked about the last days, Mark did, and Hebrews does back then. They were in the last days. And they were in the 69th day of Daniel. Jesus completed that. Now we have the gap. The Christian age, the church age, whatever you want to call it, or just the gap. Since we're in the church age, we're not going to end it on a Jewish holiday. We're going to end it on a Christian day, probably, but it could be any day. Because Christians, we're with Christ every day. So it could be any day. Don't forget the parable of virgins. Some had oil in their lamps and some didn't. Be prepared. And that's from Jesus. Okay, till we meet in the clouds. God bless. Well, this is why I'm having to do a quick rush job on a video, because it has been raining. Look at the pollen over on that water there, the yellow. But it's been raining nonstop for a day and a half. It's still drizzly. We're in between. So I'm going to get underneath the cover here and try to see all the pollen. That's the only thing good about the rain, is just getting rid of the pollen. So I'm going to get up underneath this cover, and then I'm going to have my talk, but it's going to be a little bit abbreviated. I'm still trying to satisfy YouTube and Rumble, so I'll have to try to be a little bit neutral with my talk, because this is going to go on both. I've got the request out for funding for Starlink. If I can get that unit, then I can solve my problem of uploading. So let's see what we can do to do that. $5 is all that it takes. If everybody on my team were to contribute that, I'd have more than enough. All right, let's get into the lesson. It's a little early for them to be out in the daylight, but I think that's it.